First it was my grandfather, then my father, then my uncle, then it became me.
Hey everybody, Jason here. Today we're hitting an Argentinian grill that does it big. Real flame, real flavor, real passion. Let's go backstage and meet the team that makes it all happen.
Hi, my name is Paul Rodriguez and I'm the owner of Buenos Aires Grill. I opened this restaurant April 2002. I named it Buenos Aires Grill because my family had a market restaurant called Mercado Buenos Aires that my dad originally worked in Buenos Aires and reopened one here in Los Angeles many years later. So I wanted to keep the tradition, that name kept the Buenos Aires, but this is a grill. Growing up in the family business, we were always surrounded with food and cuts of meat. As a child, I always wanted to take it a step further. I always wanted to, oh, I can do this better, or I can make this more attractive. Even though I was working in different areas, I always wanted to open up my own restaurant and continue the tradition. An asado is like an Argentine barbecue. It's a family gathering. As a child, all my life, we grew up with asados. Every important event was based around an asado. So the leader of the family was the one making the asado, and everybody else would watch, hang out, have a glass of wine, have some cheese or hors d'oeuvres while the asado is taking place. I think the biggest challenge was trying to explain to people certain cuts of meat we use, and it's really hard to sell it to people who aren't used to Argentine culture and Argentine food. For example, we have blood sausage, we have sweetbreads, we have different cuts that aren't very, pretty. And to the American eye, if you tell someone, oh, we have blood sausage on the menu, they're like, what is that? But for example, in England, it's very common. So Argentine grilling is very similar to barbecuing. It might take a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. The only difference, and there's also indirect heat, just like barbecuing, they might smoke leg of pork or some pork ribs. The Argentinian style is very, very similar. It's indirect heat, and then we finish it with direct heat. The only main difference, I would say, we only use salt and maybe a little bit of black pepper, versus American barbecuing is a lot more spices involved, a lot more of a barbecue sauce. The grills are very different. So an Argentine grill, a very typical Argentine grill, is a V-shaped grill, which allows the fat to drip off of the grill and land away from the charcoal. This avoids flaming up and lets the asado cook evenly. The dish that represents us definitely by far is our parrilladas, which is what you would get traditionally in Argentine asado. We serve in a little tabletop grill, and it's on your table, and it has like short ribs, and it has like outside skirt steak. We have our homemade chorizo, our homemade blood sausage. We have sweetbreads. Then definitely we also have our empanadas, which are very, very important. Our most popular dish is parrillada because it's family meal. It's one grill and it's meant to be shared by 2 or 3 people. It gives our customers a chance to talk about what they're eating, taste different things. So it's more of a family setting. Chimichurri in our food is very, very important, yes. Every asado has chimichurri. It is something we put on our meats after it's cooked. It just gives it a little bit extra flavor. We put it on our breads, we put it on our provolone cheese, we put chimichurri on everything. Right now we have 3 locations. We have Mercado Buenos Aires, which is like Buenos Aires Grill, but it has a market added to it. So everything that's on the menu you can buy and make yourself at home: chimichurri, empanadas, breads, pastries. We have our own butcher shop, so all the meats are there for you to cook. So we have 2 locations, one in Van Nuys, one in Granada Hills, and we have Buenos Aires Grill here in Northridge. My favorite cuisine outside of Argentinian food is definitely French. I went to Cordon Bleu, I became a chef around French food, and I use a lot of their techniques in my restaurant. When customers come in, I expect them to feel at home. Even though they're not at home, even though I want them to feel that they're in Argentina or in Buenos Aires and having this amazing food, lots of conversation, lots of loud noise, dishes, glasses of wine being poured. That's what we try to promote. If someone comes and orders a steak well done, I definitely cringe. I respect all tastes, but yeah. If I had a magic wand and I could change anything about the restaurant, it would definitely be make it bigger so I can have more tables and help more people. My biggest piece of advice of someone opening a restaurant: it's really tough. You just can't give up. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to learn through your mistakes and keep going. So my advice is don't stop.
This was my first time eating at Buenos Aires Grill. The ambiance is perfect for date night. but even better for large groups because you can share so many dishes off the menu. For appetizers, I started with 2 empanadas. They had so many choices it was hard to decide, but I went with beef and ham and cheese. The beef empanada was moist and juicy, with onions adding a nice sweetness and balance. The ham and cheese was delicious, like a Hot Pocket but 100 times better. It was hot, cheesy, and loaded with ham. For the main course, I went with their most popular item, the parrillada. Sorry if I butchered that name. This was massive. Angus skirt steak, bone-in short ribs, Argentine chorizo, blood sausage, and grilled sweetbreads. The bone-in short ribs were grilled perfectly. I was worried they wouldn't have much flavor, but I was completely wrong. The simple salt and pepper seasoning really brought out the beef's natural flavor. The Argentine chorizo had a crispy exterior while keeping the pork tender inside. The spices stood out, especially the garlic. Blood sausage was totally new to me. Smooth, smoky, a little chewy, but packed with flavor. Sweetbreads were another first. I thought they might have been fried, but they were grilled, and I loved them. Super crispy on the outside and rich on the inside. But the star of the grill was the skirt steak. I ordered it rare, and it was incredible. So tender it practically melted in my mouth. I also tried all the meats with chimichurri and their criolla, which is only available on the weekends. Both sauces took everything up to the next level. And don't worry, I also ate my veggies. You can really taste the meat quality here. I'll definitely be coming back to Buenos Aires Grill to try more dishes off the menu. As a former small business owner, I love supporting small businesses and sharing their stories. Go show them some love. Their info's in the description below. If I've earned your support, please consider subscribing. Drop a comment if you know a small business with a story worth sharing. In the meantime, check out one of these videos, or this one, to learn a bit more about me. See you in the next one.